Hey guys, and welcome back to me, Ben, playing Cities Skylines. Well, today I'm not playing, or not yet playing. Today I want to share a couple of news that I heard about Cities Skylines 2. And what you can actually see is one of the screenshots, and I'll share, of course, the source of it with you later, because luckily the internet hardly ever forgets things that get published, even by accident. So again, Microsoft and its Xbox Store did us a favor here, at least for everyone who's actually interested in playing Cities Skylines 2. So they shared a couple of screenshots 2 days ago. And yeah, the first one that I would like to discuss is this kind of close-up view to a city, and it's actually very interesting. Of course, you can see a lot of detail. The houses look way less cartoony, like you can even have the impression that you can look into rooms and offices here. So that already looks amazing. What's the most, well, I wouldn't say, I'm not that excited about new textures and more realistic approach, but that's something I like it, but I not necessarily need it. I'm more curious, for example, how many units is this house actually, or how many citizens are actually living in one of those houses here? What do the units, or the amount of units, what does it look like? How many people can live in such a house? Will it be, well, I don't know, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's say 7 stories times, I don't know, at least I would say 2, 4, 6, 8, at least 8 times 7 apartments, which would make it, well, if we think about that, usually maybe 2 people are living there, or maybe 1.5. Let's say 1.5 are living in each apartment. So this house alone would have 84 inhabitants. So I'm way more curious about the stats of each building, less than texturing and things like that. It looks nice, no questions asked, but this is something I'm not that curious about. What I like is that the whole environmental settings seem to be slightly different, if that's vanilla gameplay without any like specials activated or so. I'm happy to see like this fog, and the atmosphere looks way more natural than it did before. It seems to be kind of an afternoon, close to evening scene, which is something I really like to see in such a screenshot. What I'm also interested in is there are street signs, and I was never, or it looks like street signs at least, and I never really recognized those in Cities Skylines 1. It looks like signs. You have, oh, this looks very European. I'm surprised, because I know in North America, I think you would place your traffic lights actually on the other side, which makes a lot more sense, because in Europe, sometimes you need to sit in weird angles in your car just to see the lights going from red to green, or from green to red. So it's kind of ridiculous, but that seems to be kind of a mixture between European and not European. However, these are just minor details, at least for me. I'm excited about the stats of the houses. How many offices does this one, for example, have? How many people can work there, can actually live there? This is way more important for me. And the same goes for like this night screenshot. It does look beautiful, no questions asked. I like it way more than Cities Skylines 1. But again, it's something I'm less curious about. I'm surprised and honestly very happy about the overall design of things. I recognize that like cars are being used a lot, I would say. I can see at least 4 of these mini cars here. Then here a white and a white one with a black roof. So it's, well, there won't be a lot of variation. Even that black one here is the same one as the blue one here. So, but even if, I think they put in a lot of effort into modeling new buildings and therefore achieving a way more realistic look than they did in previous versions of the game, like in Cities Skylines 1. So a lot of things changed when it comes to that. The other thing I'm honestly curious about, which is something I would like to share before we are talking about my personal highlight, is the UI. So I will have to get used to it. Absolutely, 100%. It's different, but it's not too different. So a couple of things change from a layout perspective. I can see like the zoning here. They introduced a new color here, which is something I'm curious about, because we have like commercial, industries, residential, and what else? So I'm curious about that. That seems to be the district tool, the way it looks. I think you could even probably just put down points and no longer having to paint things on the map. This can be beneficial, can worsen things, but we'll have to wait and see. There are the roads, electricity, water supplies, hospitals and whatnot, and the whole waste management, schools, education. Then here we have fire department, police department, public transport, parks. What is it? Is it the little birdie on top? I don't know yet. This looks like the modeling tool for the landscape, probably. Of course, you have your bulldozer that always needs to be there. And yeah, so the stats here, they all look pretty much the same. So I think it's not too much of a difference compared to the Cities Skylines 1 version of the game. But what I'm interested in is like the UI looks way more reduced, I would say, which is something I absolutely prefer. I also like the view that makes it a bit more easy to, it makes it easier for players maybe to recognize, because everything else is gray and you can only see the things that you actually selected. Here they are showing the population screen, citizens age and things like that. So how many kids are there, how many teens, adults, seniors. So that's really nice. What I like about this, and sorry for zooming in here and the quality getting a little bit worse. What I like is that the high rises seem to be way higher. Even if they are not, they don't seem to be residentials, but here you can see, for example, maybe a residential high rise that's almost as high as one of the probably commercial or office high rises. So that's something I'm absolutely curious about. What else can we see here? Like there's a nuclear power plant, very, very interesting over there. I don't know what it is, maybe some kind of industry. At least that's the way how it looks. There's an airport nearby. So it's interesting. It looks more natural, train station, some kind of tower, whatever it is, I don't know. But it looks way more natural. Even like if you have a look at the mountains over here, the texturing and the whole height map and things, it's I think way more realistic. But either way, again, at least for me personally, it's nice to see, nice to have. Even the reflections here in the water, it looks stunning in some kind of way, but not my personal priority for this game. What I'm absolutely curious about, and I'm more than happy to share that with you, is the following screenshot. Bird's eye view on a couple of intersections, a couple of highways, a couple of, I don't know, crossings, whatnot, different types of roads. And let me tell you about a couple of things that I absolutely like. Like the transition off-ramp here becomes an on-ramp on an most likely arterial road, I would say. That transition looks amazing. The overpath for the pedestrians looks great too. I love that they included some kind of bridge here that makes it more realistic than the slopes. Probably that's sitting on actually some ground level here, could be. But here, I think over there it stops and then it is kind of a bridge. But look at that transition. Like, that's amazing. At least for me personally, that's really amazing. Even the way how they divided the separate different lanes looks great. The markings here, the speed indicators looks absolutely great. And this screenshot here has a couple of different levels, which is great to see, because you have that level coming in here. This becomes a tunnel, I think, over there, or at least it's a tunnel, kind of a tunnel here. Then you have the ground level, at least here and there, and here. Also the train line here is on ground level, as you can see. But over there, it's another level here. So it's kind of a bridge, transitioning from here to over there, but it stays a bridge and then it goes back to ground level. So there are at least 3 levels, which is something I absolutely like. Another thing that I love to see are those roundabouts. They look way better. This is a really small roundabout, but it looks way better than in Cities Skylines 1. Another thing I wanted to point out is let me check and see where I did see that. Oh yeah, it's a crossing here, and even that one does look way better than it ever did before. I'm not such a huge fan of trains in Cities Skylines, at least so far. I haven't been such a huge fan of it. But it's just amazing to see that. Could be morning, could be late afternoon, but I guess it's more like a morning screenshot. The shadows, amazing. The landscaping, amazing. The trees and everything looks just good. And I'm curious to see the what's it called? The seasons coming to life. And I think that's also something you can probably, you can see it here. Like, it shows spring, it has 20 degrees, sunshine, So I'm very curious about this, because then you less have to choose at the very beginning. Do you want to play a winter scenario or a normal scenario? It switches throughout the game, so that's something I'm absolutely curious about. And even here, I think this looks like the demand bar. This could be way more detailed. It could be like light residential, medium and dense residential zones. This could be, yeah, most likely industrial. I'm curious why they don't seem to have any demand for commercial zones in that kind of a city, but that's fine. Could be just by incident. And again, that number here indicates another thing. 173 tiles? Could it be tiles? And I'm wondering, how big can those tiles be? Because if they are really huge, at the same size of the current Cities Skylines 1 tiles, that would be amazing. Honestly, I would love to do that. And I think one of the first things I'm going to try, if it's big enough, rebuilding parts of Tokyo. Or maybe LA, but I think I'm going for Tokyo first. I'm so curious to do that, and I would be so happy to see that. So yeah, I'm closing this little preview here for you. In the description down below, I know I'm not the first one to share this, but in the description down below you will find 2 links. The first one is to a Reddit thread where you can read a little bit more about people discussing those screenshots. So the opinion I shared here with you is just based on my own opinion, of course. I haven't read through all those comments. I don't know what other people are excited about, but I wanted to give you my personal first point of view on these screenshots. And the other thing I'm sharing with you is, of course, a link to the Wayback Machine link where you can actually see the landing page that Microsoft Xbox Store actually accidentally, whatnot, maybe on purpose, published just for a couple of hours. That allows us to see more about this game. And please remember, this is the Xbox version, so I'm expecting a bit more details, maybe a less cartoony approach on the Cities Skylines PC version, hopefully. Well, we'll see it sooner or later, soon enough, but I'm more than excited to see that coming. So I wish you a wonderful day. If you haven't followed me yet, if you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate it if you did so. I will share news about Cities Skylines 2 along the way until the game gets released, and as soon as it's released, I will heavily invest time into playing Cities Skylines 2 because I'm more than curious about this. So have a good one. Thanks for joining me today, and see you soon. Bye bye.